Anyway, so what I want to talk about today is a revised review of the Royal Enfield Himalayan versus the BMW G310GS, and the reason for this is because I don't think I gave a fair go to the Royal Enfield Himalayan. I had a brief ride on the BMW G310GS compared to having ridden the Royal Enfield Himalayan for a few months, and just because I was so excited to ride the BMW, my view was distorted, my perception was distorted. It scared me. Relax, mate. Anyway, so the Royal Enfield Himalayan is a 411cc single cylinder engine that produces 24.5 horsepower, and the BMW G310GS 313cc liquid cooled engine, single cylinder, that produces about 32 horsepower. Or about 30 horsepower, I believe. Originally I was like, oh yeah, the BMW is better based on that little test ride, just because it seemed to have more power. It was more responsive and quicker on the throttle. I was just an excited little schoolboy riding that one. But now that I've actually ridden the BMW G310GS longer, I rode it for a few days, and I got a varying opinion on it this time, just because of a lot of issues that it had. The Royal Enfield Himalayan is a way better off-roader, although it's not as good as on the road because it's only got a 5-speed transmission, and the torque curve really, it drowns out when it comes to torque and horsepower at the higher ranges on the RPM spectrum. Whereas the BMW just keeps going harder and harder as you just shift through the gears. But the problem with the BMW is it's got really short gears. You got to keep shifting through the gears again and again, which just gets really annoying. It's nowhere near as comfortable as the Royal Enfield. The suspension is quite lacking. It basically just feels like a toy overall. The handlebars wobble for no apparent reason. It's got tiny foot pegs. It's got a big rounded petrol tank that just won't get out of the way. It kind of hits your knees. And the BMW, I don't know, it just kind of, it felt cheap, unrefined. Kind of felt like BMW just came up with this idea, and without testing it too well, they've just released it. Although the BMW's got the inverted front suspension fork, which is apparently supposed to be better, the Royal Enfield's just got the long travel front suspension, which just seems to work much better. Plus the fact that it's got a higher ground clearance. It's got a 21-inch tyre on the front, and BMW's only got a 19-inch tyre on the front. The Royal Enfield really just kills it when it comes to off-road performance, and if you're getting an adventure bike that you want to take on long distances, you really want something that can go wherever you want to go. You don't want to be restricted. Although the BMW can handle its fair amount of off-roading, it just kind of rattles, and the fairings on it kind of just rattle. The front headlight, the headlight like shakes. It wobbles within its casing. Basically the BMW's just got a vast array of problems. Wobbly headlight, wobbly handlebars, small foot pegs, fat rounded petrol tank that just gets in the way of your knees as you're standing. You're trying to adopt the standing position on it. It's got really short gears, so you got to constantly shift through the gears, which just is not fun. And basically the BMW just kind of feels confused when you're riding it. It feels like it doesn't know whether it wants to be an adventure bike or a street bike. It's kind of an awkward mix between the two. So overall, even with its many faults, the BMW is still a tad more of a premium bike. It is still a bit more fun to ride than the Royal Enfield. It offers slightly more than the Royal Enfield. When you look at everything overall, you look at its road performance and its off-road performance versus the Royal Enfield's road and off-road performance, it is slightly better. but is it worth an extra $3,000? $2,000 to $3,000? No, it is not. So anyway, when it comes to taking price into consideration, when price is also a factor, do you want to be buying the BMW or the Royal Enfield? Hands down, buy the Royal Enfield Himalayan when price is a factor, because with such a huge discrepancy, such a huge difference in price, you get way more bike for way little price. I wouldn't say way more bike, but you get a lot of damn bike for a lot less price. So anyway guys, thanks for watching. Basically, you want to get yourself a Royal Enfield Himalayan if you're considering that, or the BMW G310GS.